Today we're going to be covering, the MetaStock software and our newest add-on, which is by Jeff Tompkins, the TradeTrend system. So I'm going to be, doing a demonstration kind of a lot of the basics of MetaStock and how it works, and then we're going to be utilizing most of the power tools with the TradeTrend system. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy the capabilities that this system has and see a lot of benefit in how it could help you with your trading. So I'm Bobby. I've been here with MetaStock. This is going to be my third year here. Been working as a sales executive and an account manager for quite a while. I love it here. It's been working out well for me. I've been doing a lot of trading myself lately as well, and this TradeTrend system is actually the system I've been using ever since we released it a couple of months ago. Before we really dive into everything too deep, though, of course, we're going to have to go through the disclaimer. This demonstration, it's designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins, and it's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. So I kind of already hit this, but the main focus is today, it's to utilize MetaStock and the newest TradeTrend add-on, and we're going to be showing you how do you find different securities to trade, when do you know to buy those securities, when should you get into them, when should you get out of them, and also we're going to show you how you can backtest these strategies to make sure that their personalities match well with the security that you're wanting to trade, just to give you a more likelihood of a well-performing system for each individual security. All right, so I want to cover who Jeff Tompkins is a little bit. He's been trading for well over 20 years now, and he's been utilizing the TradeTrend strategy that we're going to be demonstrating today for the last 20 years, and he's had a lot of success with it. He was able to start up his own company, the the Trading Profit LLC, and his TradeTrend is his system that he uses, the exact system he uses and is successful with in his own personal trading. He has a bachelor's in finance from Santa Clara University, and he has over 17,000 different followers that have been following his trading advice and strategies for years, and he's finally made that system available to everyone on our MetaStock platform via the TradeTrend system. So I don't want to go through PowerPoints all day. We're going to spend the majority of our time right inside of the MetaStock software. So let's go ahead and get jumped right into that. Here we have MetaStock just right when you open it up. I want to keep this class pointed towards beginners quite a bit, just in case people aren't familiar with MetaStock at all. But then for those of you that do have MetaStock, there's probably going to be a few cool tips and tricks that you can learn. Plus, you're going to be able to see the power of this TradeTrend system as well. So right here we have our power console in MetaStock, and this is basically the main hub. When you open this up, it gives you all of our main different power tools here, which are charting platform for doing your advanced charting, the Explorer for finding different buy and sell signals and also scanning for other trading criteria, our system tester, and then also our forecaster. We're going to be focusing the majority of the day on these first three, the chart, the Explorer, and the system tester, and we're probably going to leave the forecaster for another day, even though it is a really cool function. If you guys haven't been using it, I highly recommend it because that forecaster can help you a lot with seeing likely target direction for the near future. So with our charts here, let's go ahead and kind of just review this page here, and we'll go into the chart and start doing a few different things. With this is our instrument list here, and as you can see here, there's over 398,000 securities in my list because we do offer global market data here, and you also have the ability to use your own local data for end of day data, or you can also download our data so you have the data stored on your computer. You don't need to be connected to the internet to access it. And so that's what these different lists here are going over. And then you can see that you can even dive down into these even more, like if you just wanted to go search for equities or stocks within North and South America, and then maybe just on the NASDAQ exchange. You can access different symbols this way to pull them up and start doing charting or analysis on them. You also have the option of going into the instrument search box here. And sorry, I do have the dual monitors, guys, so sometimes my boxes are going to open up on the other monitor, but if you click this instrument search button here, instead of clicking through and finding different securities this way, you can always come in here and then either type in the name of the symbol. You can also search for the company by name. You can sort by name and symbol as well, and choose whether, if you just know part of the name, like the middle word in the company's name, you could just do contains within here and search the name to help you find it. I'm going to pull up a symbol here to get started that I've actually been trading lately and looking at, and I really like it for the TradeTrend system, which we'll be demoing along with some other things here. So I'm just going to, for this one, just type it in right up here, just XRX, that's Xerox. And then what we're going to do is we're going to load 1,250 records, so that's about 5 years worth of data or so. You can choose, if you want to load the maximum amount, whether you want to open up your chart in a daily interval, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, or for those on our real-time version of the software, you can even do intraday time frames like tick or 1 minute, 5 minute, hourly, etc. You do also have an option for custom intervals, so you can say 50 ticks per bar, or however you want to do it. Whatever your trading style is, our platform can cover it. You can also have your charts open up automatically with different saved templates, and as you can see, we have many different templates in the platform here, but for getting started purposes, I'm just going to open this up on a blank slate with a clean template, and you can click summary here to see what exactly it is that you're doing. We're only opening one symbol with the records, the daily, and the clean template. But then we're going to go ahead and just click open chart here. And so now, as you see here, this is just a chart. It tells us the name up here of Xerox Corporation. And we have about 5 years worth of data on here. And there's a ton of different platforms that are going to provide you with charting software, and a lot of them all start out just like this. So we can go ahead and get this zoomed in a little bit more so we know what we're doing in here. But the beauty of MetaStock is that it is fully customizable. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just maybe set this up a little differently to see if we can provide ourselves with a little more information in a different style. I'm going to go ahead and open up, just double click on these bar charts here, and we're going to change them over to a candlestick. And on an up arrow, I'm thinking I want to do green, and then down arrow red. So we're going to go ahead and just apply that and then get this opened up here. Also, MetaStock is well known for the many different indicators that we have. And here you can see we have several hundred different indicators and systems that you can apply to your chart. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just open up one of the ones I use quite a bit, is just add some volume onto my chart. And I can either place it directly on it here, I can come down here, and as you can see, a little box pops up when I do this, and this will put it in its own window down at the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. We don't need it that big though. So now you can see you're starting to get a little more information on your screen. You can see when it's going down more easily. You have the candlesticks, the volume, everything applied here, and then you have the option of going in and creating your own custom layouts. with different time settings and things of that nature. We also have our toolbar here, so if you want to go in and put in different levels of support and resistance on your own, you can easily do that, and put on multiples of them even as well right on your chart. So still nothing too fancy yet, but definitely you can kind of see how you'd be able to fully create your own system doing that. And let's see the power of MetaStock though, and the beauty of specifically this TradeTrend system that we're going to be going over today, is we have our own expert advisor system. And this expert advisor, we're actually going to go ahead and get into that right now, and we're going to attach the TradeTrend system with it. And these are different advisors set up that are going to give you basically their own custom layout and template around its specific trading system. So if we go ahead and apply this TradeTrend system, and notice actually it did keep my volume on here too, but the TradeTrend does itself use candlesticks, so that also stayed the same. But now you can see on the chart, especially if I get zoomed in here, you're seeing these different arrows. Like right here we have a green arrow, that's and you can see when I scroll over it, it says it's a buy entry. And we have these red arrows, that's a sell entry. Not to be confused with some other systems where you might buy at the first arrow and then sell your initial buy at the sell arrow, but this system does give you a buy arrow and then an exit on the buy, and then it gives you a sell arrow and a sell for when you're going to exit. And you can see there's quite a bit of information came once I applied that template too, though. This TradeTrend system, it also gives us these diamonds here, and that diamond, that's for a setup. You have them with both the sells and with the buys. And what that means when that comes up on your chart, it's basically telling you, hey, you can expect that if it's green, you're going to have a buy position coming soon, as long as the criteria gets met. So it kind of gives you a heads up, and this will work on any time frame as well. And then with that, sorry, I was reading a couple of comments here and I got a little bit distracted. But yeah, with this, so you get the diamond here and the buy, and then your exits. And let's see. But for some people, this isn't going to give you all the information that you need, and you want to know, why exactly you are getting these signals. Another beautiful thing with the expert advisor and the MetaStock software, and specifically TradeTrend as well, is most of our expert advisors all include expert commentary, and this commentary is designed to help guide you through your trades and let you know exactly what it is that you're looking at. So we're going to go ahead and apply the TradeTrend commentary here again, and now let's open up that commentary one more time. And now we have it docked right over here. This is how it should have happened all along, guys. So we got it pulled up here. And what I was kind of mentioning earlier, you can see this little arrow here. It shows you that we're on today's date. Well, actually, this is local data, so I had it downloaded the other day. And with that, let's see. Oh, look, and we even had people commenting some advice on where to find the commentary when that happened. So wish I would have looked at that sooner. But this arrow tells us, today there's not a lot going on today. This actually brings me to another point. As you can see, this is a black bar here, and that means nothing is really going on. We're not in a trade or any sort of position if we were using the TradeTrend system right now. But if we just move it back a day here, which I'm going to just click this arrow to jump back, you see the exit signal here. If you had the commentary open, it tells you on the different days here. Oh, here we go. So we were in a short position. Sorry, I was looking at the long positions. But here it told us, actually let's back up one more. Here it says the TradeTrend projects a move down in the market, and gave us the diamond, kind of the alert, like, hey, be on the lookout. The criteria for a sell setup has occurred, and based on this alignment of technical patterns, which includes volume, volatility, momentum, and other trend factors in that full proprietary blend of indicators that Jeff Tompkins created. The probabilities of the price moving in the anticipated direction is currently at its highest, and the suggested entry price is at $31 and some change using a sell stop order. And at this time, you can see here it was at $31.07, and so this is telling you, with that signal popping up, in order to get a confirmation of your trade on the next day's setup, you would want it to be, or you would want to get in, at a price around $31. However, because this is a short, to kind of save you a little bit, if it gapped down too far, then you wouldn't want to get into it. And we'll go into that in a little more detail later as well. And then it also tells you if the trade is entered, you're going to have your initial trailing stop at $33. And now let's go in to the next point here. And now this is when it did actually trigger. So your short entry triggered price was reached. And so now you're into your trade if you were following this system. And it says, to stop tomorrow, or it updates your stop and it trails it for you. So you always, kind of have that protection there, updating your trailing stops for you. And it'll do that, for all the signals here. You can go back in on the buys and everything and look at it. And the beauty with TradeTrend 2, as you can see on this one, and I've actually been even doing a little trading on this, as I had mentioned before, but you can see, it had a setup here, and then you got into it. Like this would have got you into a pretty good trade, and then it brings down. You can very easily see that. And also, though, I do want to point out kind of the colors of these bars. I meant to get into this a little bit ago, but initially when you get into a trade, you're going to have this bright green color here. Let's even zoom in a little more so you guys can see. Maybe even we'll go back to our candlesticks just because it's better to demonstrate these colors. So now you can see them, they're a little bit bigger. Oh, let's close that. So when you first get into your trade, you have this bright green, and that's telling you, like, hey, this trade is working out well for you. And then what happens is it changes once momentum starts to shift. The colors on the chart change, telling you, hey, there's a potential to get out here soon. In this case, on the day that it changed, it provided you with an exit. But let's maybe zoom out and find a couple others here, because sometimes you get them for a couple of days. Like here, we got into a trade and it started to go bad, and then it ended up telling us to get out, but you can see the color shift kind of warning you of that. And the same thing happens with the sells. Let's see if we can, like here you can see this is a darker red because it started to change. And with your trailing stops on this, though, do note when you see something like this, you would have put the sell here, and then with the stop losses it provides you, you would have got out of this trade right down here. Still, you would have profited from this. You wouldn't have ended up waiting until it was up here, because it provides you with those signals so that you can always have stop losses in place. So that's, you can see why I wanted to show you the commentary, because it can help you out quite a bit. And not only do you get a very good visual representation of what you should be doing where your trades are occurring, but you get expert commentary on it too, and telling you, the prices to get in and out at, where to set your stop losses at, and things of that nature. Another thing I kind of wanted to show you guys here, because I'm sure a lot of you are pretty familiar with the MACD signal. And so the MACD, I believe, was taken into consideration quite a bit for the TradeTrend system. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our indicator drop-down list, and I'm actually going to apply the MACD, because it is something that I like to follow myself, onto our chart as well. And I'm going to dock it up here at the top so that it gets placed in its own window. And for those of you that don't know, the MACD is kind of a trading system where It works with momentum as well, and a few different moving averages. And this dark red line, when it crosses over the signal line of this dotted line here, that's an indication to buy. And when it goes below it, so up here it's above and it's going below, that's an indication to potentially sell based off the MACD. And one of the reasons I really like TradeTrend is because it outperforms the MACD. In my experience, almost all the time. Of course, it can vary depending on your security and whatnot, but the MACD really seems to outperform, or sorry, the TradeTrend really seems to outperform the MACD, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys some examples here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Maybe we'll even zoom out a little bit more and just cover a couple of them here. So if you see here, with TradeTrend, we got the buy setup, and then the next day we got the entry. So we would have entered the trade right here using TradeTrend. And then as you can see up at the top, so right here, this is when the MACD signaled though. So on our actual chart down here, you can see, okay, if I traded with the MACD on this, I would have bought here versus TradeTrend's getting you in here. And then, TradeTrend will get you out right here once it starts to go sideways. So a good system there, got you in before, so I really like that. Same thing if we go down like right over here. So we had a sell signal with the MACD, and that came up the same day as the sell signal with TradeTrend. However, TradeTrend gave us a warning the day before, kind of preparing us for this, and so we would have known a day earlier. And so we likely could have gotten in at a better price than we would have with the MACD on the next day because of that. And then the same occurrence is here, like TradeTrend, it got us in right here when the MACD would have gotten us in here. And then TradeTrend got us out right at the top of this. And the MACD waited an extra day in order for it to get us out. But with that, the MACD, the day that it had the outing, we also had a setup for a short. And if you just look at this here, this perfectly catches the bottom of this cycle the day after pretty much that it happens, and gets us into another buy signal. And if you notice up here, the MACD would have gotten us into this right here, but we caught it by potentially a week sooner than the MACD did with this system. So I wanted to be able to show you guys kind of that demonstration of how well this system performs, and with it providing you with the setups as well, so that you get information sooner than you would with the MACD, and can also put in preparations like your trailing stops and etc. So I really like that about this system, and it's one of the reasons that I've been using it lately, is because I used to use the MACD quite a bit, and then I found that this TradeTrend just outperforms it, and I can make much higher profitable margins with my trading because of it. And so one thing though, like we actually showed you guys this earlier, or I did, is our instrument list. So there's hundreds of thousands of securities, or futures, Forex, you name it, that you guys can trade. And instead of just pulling up charts and just going through tons and tons of charts, like if you wanted to look at the S&P 500, you like to trade that, and you're wanting to know what has buying or selling criteria going on today. You don't want to have to flip through a ton of charts and look for that arrow. So we actually have our Explorer system, and TradeTrend has its own built-in exploration that's going to find these signals for you. So if we go ahead and jump into our Power Console, so the main feature here, and go down to the Explorer tab, you can also access it from up here, right here up at the top of the binoculars. And then as you can see here, we do have tons of different trading systems within the platform, but keeping on with TradeTrend here, there's a couple of different explorations for it. So some people, might be bullish or bearish on a market, and they prefer to only buy or sell. And then some people also, might want to do both. And really, so we kind of gave you the options here. As you can see, like for the long setups, TradeTrend long, we have both setups and signals. So the setup is going to be the diamond. And one thing to note with that diamond, it'll tell you, hey, if the price goes above this point the next day, then it's going to be a buy signal. And that signal is going to be valid for the next 3 days, just so that you guys know this. So if you actually read the commentary on this, it says good for, down at the bottom, good for how many days the signal is good for, not counting today. And that's in the column definitions, and we'll show you what those columns are here in just a moment when we run that. And then for the signals, that's the actual arrow saying, hey, the signal is today, so you want to get in today. So we're going to go ahead and just run a scan here just across that S&P 500. So you can see what I did is I just clicked. We're going to run just for signals because I want to have some preparation. I'm not looking to get into a trade today, but potentially tomorrow or the next day. You can do it however you like though. So we're going to look for signals and records to load. So it's actually, this can be kind of important here. So we're going to keep it at the 1250, about 5 years. That's what we did when we opened up our chart as well. But the reason this can kind of matter is the algorithm that TradeTrend is based off of, using different momentum and time-based indicators and systems, is if you only load the last 10 days of data, it's taking only the momentum off those last 10 days of data. So it's important to, with this system in particular, to run your scans with the same number of records as you're looking at your charts with. So that's why we're going to choose the 1250 here. And then with the intervals, we're going to keep it on daily. As I mentioned previously, though, we can do this on any time frame you want. The TradeTrend system, with the type of indicators and momentum shifts that it uses, it'll work on any time frame. But I prefer personally to use daily because this is my day job here, so I don't have time to be monitoring the market all day long, because I prefer to sit here and talk with you guys. So we're going to keep that on daily. And then also, you have the option of running multiple scans at a time. You can see here I actually ran a scan for the MACD earlier, so I'm actually going to turn that one off. But you can do multiple explorations at a time, and it's going to give you a list of results. And if I'm running multiple results, what I could do is say I first wanted to scan with something that's average volume is over 50% on the day. And then I want to take a list of those because I only prefer to trade when volume is above its 50% average or something. Then I could run like the TradeTrend system against that, against just the results. So if it filters out 400 that didn't work, then my second scan will only go against the 100 that did have results for the previous scan. And this works with anything too, so you can combine multiple systems with this exploration. But TradeTrend in itself already has a full proprietary blend of indicators and systems and setups in place. So we're just going to run that one against that S&P 500 list. You can open up the summary to kind of get those results for yourself and see the list of instruments that we selected. So this is going to have all 505 securities in the S&P 500. But now I'm going to go ahead and just click Start Exploration here. And what we're looking at here, you can see it's flying through these. So instead of us looking at each chart, looking to see if there's a buy or sell signal, this is doing it for us. And you can see so far it's rejecting around 90% of these different instruments. So it's helping to save us a lot of time with these signals on the buy. So it's just about done here, coming through, and you can see this little run-in guy here is because that's the exploration running. If we had multiple explorations, there'd be a list of all of them here, and then you see this is 0 out of 1. As soon as this one was completed, it would jump down to the next one and start running that scan. But this is the great thing about our version 16 of MetaStock. For those of you that are still on older versions, once one scan is complete, you can immediately pull up the results like we have right here and start going through them. You don't have to wait for all the scans to complete to start viewing them. So that was a great update in 16 that they provided. So let's take a look here. We did a scan on over 500 securities, and 468 of them were rejected, and we had 37 results. And so as you can see here, it's listing. There's a few different columns, like I had mentioned earlier, the columns. This was the close price, and we could sort by the close price here if we wanted. That's another exploration you can run. Say you only like to trade securities between $50 and $100 for their cost for some reason, then you could do a pre-scan filter for that and then run your results. But in here, I mean, you can also just filter by the close price with the minimum and maximum here. So that's kind of the safety with the buy. So this says you want to get in between $197 or $202. If there's a big gap up, potentially there's going to be better trades out there that haven't gapped up this high already, and so you might want to wait for the next one to get into it, because you already lost a lot of your profit if there was a big gap up already. So this tells you, what's the safe area to get into your trades at, and can prevent you from jumping in at the end of, a big gap and then losing money. And the stop price here is the initial, trailing stop price. So if I got in at $197, I'm going to put in a stop loss with my broker for $191 to prevent me from, losing too much money if for some reason the trade went south on me. And when you have a list of these here, you can very easily just go into it. Like I just double clicked and it opened up the chart for it here. And then also, guys, so you can actually set it up default to open up your own templates or the TradeTrend system. I have that turned off right now, but you could have just opened this right up and had the TradeTrend system on it. I just have mine set up not to do that right now, but then that saves you a ton of time. Every chart that you open up is going to have your exact, forms of analysis on there. If you wanted to add, the MACD to the top of this and different moving averages and things of that nature, you can do that as well, and then save it as a template and get it opened. So here's that, one that I just decided to open up, and you can see, today is giving us a buy signal. Yesterday was the setup, and we just got in. So the exploration can save you a ton of time with actually finding these trades. And there's also, different filters and things that you can apply to your explorations too, to make sure that, everything's customized to your desired standards. Also, what a lot of people wonder is though, like, how do I know if I should always trade this system on this security? Because some different securities seem to trade with a different personality, or they have a different flow to them. With our system tester, this allows you to back test different strategies to say, hey, if I traded this exact strategy on this security or this set of securities based off my personal, account, how would it have performed? And so you can make sure that you're only trading different systems like TradeTrend on ones that it matches with well. And the beauty of TradeTrend is it probably has the best back testing I've seen. I mean, it has some amazing results, and we're going to show that to you guys right now. So if you go in here, I mean, you can pull up all the different system tests. Also note, you can create your own custom explorations and your own custom system tests. We have a very easy to use formula language. You don't have to know programming to use our formula language, and we have some formula primers on our website that can teach you how to do that. Or, if you prefer to let other people do that for you, we have a formula team that can build your personal indicators or systems for you for a low fee, normally like $30, and get you guys these created. However, with TradeTrend, I mean, it already comes with everything that you need. So let's go ahead and run a test so I can show you guys how this works. And there's honestly a few different ways of doing this system test. One is, with that list of from the Explorer, that we ran. After you run a scan, if you go into the system tester, for your instrument list, you can actually select the last exploration results in here from the Explorer. So let me just, oh, sorry guys, I'm jumping around a little bit too much. So in the system tester here, we can run a test against the results from our explorations, or we have the option of we could go in and run a system test against the whole S&P 500 if you prefer to first find out which securities its personality matches the best, and then wait for those to have a buy signal. Or if you want to get in a trade, right away, you can search for those buy or sells, and then run your test. So let's just do a quick one against that last exploration results. We're going to do the 1250 records here because that's what we did for our exploration, so that we know they're matching up along with our charts. You can trade. Are you just someone that does long trades? Do you just want to look at short trades? Do you want to have it for both? TradeTrend works amazingly on both, so we're going to keep it on both. We're going to use today's exchange date and time on the daily interval. Let's go into this trade options button here so you guys can see some of the things here. When it gives us a report, we can customize how we want that report to show up. And so that's what this page here is for. In the account tab here, you can say, put in your account details. Say you have a trading account of $100,000, so you can put that in here, your own personal, funds, and then you're willing to risk, up to 80% of your account, or you're willing to trade up to 80% of that at a time. So that's what we're going to put in there. And then for your broker, if you have interest rates or commissions, things of that nature, you can enter those all in here. I use Robinhood for my trading, so they don't charge me any fees, so I'm going to leave that at 0. And then in here you can choose for the test, when are you buying, when are you selling, etc. And the best way with TradeTrend, it takes that stuff into consideration, and the minimum and maximums and your stop losses to get you in and out. So the best way to do it is uncheck realistic prices and have these all on close for TradeTrend with the 0 delay. So you're getting in when it tells you to get in, and you're getting out when it tells you to get out based off the commentary. That's what this scan will run. So let's go ahead and start that test. And you can see right here, it's running that test. This is just going to take a couple of moments here because we're doing it just off the exploration results, so it's going to be pretty quick. You can also use the system tester and choose multiple trading systems and then test them all against, say, Xerox to see which of those systems work best for Xerox in particularly. So if you know what security you want to trade, you can go do it that way as well. But this is the way most people do it, so we're going to keep it like this. So now I've got a list of results here. I'm going to go ahead and sort this by profit. So this is telling us here, if we traded the TradeTrend system and got in when the commentary told us to got in, and out when it told us to get out within those ranges, these would have been the results. And this is just on the ones that have a buy signal today or yesterday when that scan was initially ran, because I was using local data. And it tells you how it would have performed, and you can double click to open these up and get additional details on there. And so see, this is using the TradeTrend system with our $100,000 equity and the risk management we put in. We would have profited $73,000 in the last 5 years using TradeTrend on this system. It had a 73% performance rate, and if you annualize that, it was about a 14% buying and selling it, annualized performance over the last 5 years on this specific security. And I'd like to point this out. If you had just bought 5 years ago and held on to this, you would have lost $26,000. The buy and hold performance was negative 26%. So this TradeTrend, that kind of tells you this can work in an up or down market, because this security has obviously been dropping, and TradeTrend showed us that you would have performed a lot better compared to just investing into this specific security. Oh, I closed that down. Let's go ahead and open that back up here, look at a couple more things. The scan we just ran, you can see I've been running a bunch of scans lately. I believe it was 37, so this one. And you can go into any of these and you can see here too, it gives you just a ton of information on these scans, where the results were, how many trades you took total, how many were long, how many were short, how many were profitable, how many were not. You can also go in and see where all your orders would have been, look at your positions, the equity line and system tests. So quite a few different things available in here. I actually ran this against the S&P 500 earlier today, so let's go ahead and pull that up because that's looks pretty good as well. So this is going to show you if you use TradeTrend across the S&P 500, the same parameters I had entered in earlier because I just ran this scan this morning. And one thing I'd like to point out is not only does TradeTrend perform positively on more than it does negatively, but the winners here, you know, some of these, and same exact parameters, remember, came up almost 200%. But then, you know, these losses here, you're looking at losing 40,000 compared to a win of 180,000 for the best and worst. And what this system tester does, though, is it tells you, you know, don't trade TradeTrend on these systems because they have a different personality. But you'd likely, you know, if you're getting a buy or sell signal on any of these up here, then you'd very likely want to, you know, take that trade. And we can dive into these further. I actually wanted to show with the equity line here. One thing I look at here is, so this is the last 5 years and what your account would have been doing. So it started out at 100,000, and you can see there were a couple of trades here that were decent. The security wasn't moving much, you know, 5 years ago, but then you can see it's gradually just been going up and up and up, and that's what I like to see. That tells me that, hey, this has been performing well and consistently, especially lately, with profitable trades using TradeTrend on this security. If my equity line looked sporadic, like up and down and up and down and up and down, and it was currently just in and up, maybe I wouldn't want to trade this because it's not always performing well over time. But with this one it was, so I would want to trade this one. So that's how the system tester works, and and it's a pretty unique platform, and it'll tell you, you know, everything that you need to know. Like a couple other things here, like the highest profit on this one in particular made $36,000 on a trade, and it, you know, had 8 wins in a row. But then when it comes to the losers, with, you know, this thing's account size only having lost $8,200 once off of, you know, 100,000, you're looking at, you know, you dropped about 8% on just one trade, and that was the highest loss ever on it in the last 5 years here. And so that's really not bad, considering you have way more profitable trades, and the profitable trades are more profitable than the losers. The average loss was significantly less than what the average profit was as well. So a lot of great things and information that you can look at there. And it'll work with all the main power tools for that. So that's the basis of, you know, TradeTrend and MetaStock and the different power tools and how they work. If you guys want to start coming in with questions, that'd be fine. I'd love to answer any of your questions. So I have a tickle in my throat. But I'm going to go into back into my PowerPoint. In the meantime, looks like I jumped ahead a little bit. No. Oh, maybe not, actually. Let's pop this back open for you guys. So just left a couple bullets and notes that I wanted to make sure we had covered. So we, you know, it works in real time too. If you're using our real-time version of MetaStock, where the pricing is updated on your charts, you know, all throughout the day and everything, you're going to get these signals, the setups, the triggers and exits, all in real time. With the end of day setup though, and just so you guys know, Tompkins, the creator, he even mostly uses this on end of day. But he's found with some markets and things it works even better with intraday. So it's going to work for whatever suits you best. It'll still work. It gives you the detailed commentary on how it all works, so it guides you through these trades and teaches you how to do them. You get the full market scanning capabilities with it, and the back testing to make sure before you actually take a trade that it's performed well against that security in the past, to give you reassurance there. It's going to come with a comprehensive user manual. Gibby, who came in here earlier and helped me out, Jeff, he also did a boot camp on this that you guys would receive if you signed up for this system, where he does a full training on it and how exactly it works and how to get things set up to your desired standards and go through it. So I was trying to do a main overview really, and so we do have full training on it to teach you how it all works so you can start benefiting from it right away. You get the template, you get the expert advisor with the commentary on there, and then the different scans for not only setups but also actual signals for both going long and short. Another way too, if you're in a lot of trades at a time, you can of course open up all your charts at once and have TradeTrend applied to all of them and look at them, but you can also save a list of the trades that you're in MetaStock, and then you can run a daily scan on them to see if now they're flagging you with a sell signal. So you wouldn't have to go through each individual chart. You could pull it up in the Explorer to tell you that, hey, there's a seller coming up. The pricing for this, so TradeTrend, it's $90 a month on a subscription. If you pay for a year up front, they'll get you a 10% discount. And you saw some of those trades and how profitable they are and how you can get in before the MAC deal signal you in, and how it has such great success across so many different securities and markets. So as long as it's benefiting you and even a trade more than your current strategies, it's easily going to pay for itself here. And so for current MetaStock users, you can add that for the $90 a month. We're even doing a special trial offer for this right now, where if you pay for 1 month, you'll get the second and third month for free. That allows you 90 days to test and learn the platform, basically $30 a month in value, to see if this can help you with your trading, and my guess is that it can. As far as MetaStock goes, for the daily charts, so you get daily, weekly, and above time intervals with data, we have a subscription of that, which is only $59 a month, and you can get the same offer of 3 months for the price of 1 if you wanted to use TradeTrend with MetaStock end of day. So that's about $149 total. And then the MetaStock RealTime software, if you were wanting to try that, if you were wanting to go from your end of day currently and try out RealTime for 3 months, you could do that for $250. Plus get TradeTrend for the $90 for 3 months. You also, guys, have the option of buying MetaStock outright if you don't already own it, and then you can significantly lower your monthly or annual fees if you own the software. Then you're only paying for data, or even using your own local data source. So we have a couple questions coming in. So Mark here is asking if this is better than the RMO system that was introduced 20 years ago. And the RMO is another favorite system of mine, and that's actually built right into MetaStock, the Rahul Mohinder oscillator, if you guys aren't familiar with it. And it's a full trading strategy that's built right into. And I think they both work with certain securities better, really. And one thing you could even do is you could do like a multi-chart layout and compare the two side by side to see for yourself which one's giving you the best results. I really like TradeTrend because it has the system testing, which the RMO does not have, so I can make sure that the personality of the trading strategy matches the security before I get into that trade. And so for that reason, I prefer personally TradeTrend over the RMO, but the RMO is also a great built-in system. And then Wes here, he asked, would the actual entry be 1 day after the green arrow for end of day? No, so the green arrow is actually telling you that it is a buy signal that day, and we'll go ahead and jump back in here. So the diamond is the setup. And as you see in the commentary here, it'll tell you the suggested entry price is 197, but as you can see, the close price of this, so at the end of the day, on this day, the close was 196, and it gave you the setup. And now you can go in and put a buy stop order with your trader, or with your broker, sorry, for $197, because based off this system, it's telling you if the security continues its momentum and hits at least 197, this is going to give you the buy. So you put in a buy stop order here at 197, and your broker would have signaled you into the trade. Right here, you would have gotten into the trade, and you get the buy arrow. For those of you that don't place buy stops, or if you're looking at it later and there's a gap up or something of that nature, you know, it says do not take the trade if the price is above $202. So if you want to get this signal and wait and look at it the next day, then you can still get in on this day as long as it's between $197 and $202. You're still going to get into the trade that day. So the commentary, it tells you that. It gives you these exact prices, but it gives you a setup with this, the buy setup telling you, hey, you can put in a stop loss or a buy stop order to get in at the lowest possible price of a signal. And if it doesn't hit that price in the next 3 days, then you lose the signal. Because in some scenarios, you'll get the setup. Like right here, we got a setup. Let's go to the commentary. It says the suggested entry price is 192 using a buy stop order. But then on this next day here, we can see the high. Sorry, entry price is 192 and 96 cents, but the high of the next day's bar only went up to $1.92 and 60 cents. So we would have not gotten into that trade yet because the momentum wasn't quite there to bring us up yet. But on the next day, it did enter in. It did go above that 192 value, so we got the actual buy entry, and we would have gotten into the trade at that price of $192 on this day. So that's how the setups work, and the difference between the signals and those setups. Any other questions that you guys might have for me? Sorry for those of you on YouTube and Facebook. I'm not seeing those, but I believe Jeff is commenting for you guys if you're asking questions there. But I can see everyone that's in GoToWebinar with me, and I'm happy to answer any other questions. Otherwise, it actually looks like we're about 5 minutes over, so just perfect timing, really, considering I had the hiccup with the commentary. But that's it, guys. That's how it works. And, you know, if you haven't tried this system yet, I highly recommend doing that extended trial offer. When you get set up, we give you a white glove setup and installation service. We'll have a support representative, a top level rep, contact you, help you get the software installed and set up, or you can do it on your own if you prefer. We have videos and manuals for it, and give you a full demo of the software, hands-on, one-on-one, show you guys how it works, show you how these different tools work, help you get it set up to your desired standards, and maybe weed out some of the noise from things you won't be using or wanting to look at. So we'll customize it to you. We'll help you get started. And then, yeah, we have free unlimited support. You can always call us, chat with us on our website at metastock.com. We have /sales chat to talk to sales. You guys can come in there and ask for me, Bobby. I'll answer any other questions you might have, and we can go through things in more detail if you like. Also, feel free to send me an email, bobby.hiller@metastock.com, or give me a call too. I actually have a page here with all these details, so you guys can give me a call, send me an email if you need support. We have our support team here too. We have other guys on the sales floor willing to help you out too if you wanted to go through any other systems or things like that. We're here to help. Well, I think that's about gonna round us up for the day, guys. Do do reach out. If you do come up with any other questions, send me an email, give me a call. I'll be here to help you out or answer any other questions, or feel free to visit our website to learn more. Have a good one.